In this variable, I'm going to show you how to standardize a variable or compute z-scores. We can use those things interchangeably. So to start off, the data set that I've got here is every public school in New Jersey that was in operation during the 2017-18 school year. And so let's say that we want to standardize a variable of total enrollment. So we want to compute z-scores or standardize. Or create standardized scores, whatever you want to say, for this variable total enrollment. So this is pretty straightforward. What we're going to do is we're going to use the egen command. And then we have to, since we're creating a new variable, so what we want to do is give our new variable a name. And when you're standardizing a variable, I recommend just saying z. Like in this case, if we're going to standardize enrollment, just make it z enrollment. That makes it much easier to see in your list of variables, like which is a z-score and which is a raw score. So we're going to create a z-score. And all we have to do is use this option here and then include our variable. So egen is where you're doing more complicated, just generating variables. So if you want to take like the average of something or the sum of a couple variables or something like that, and you don't want to have to type out a function like you might if you're coding something in Excel or whatever. So anyway, going back to creating a standard z-score, standardized score, however you want to call it. So we're going to use the egen command, the name of a new variable. So this is going to be a variable that we create, and then equals, and then this just tells Stata to standardize this variable that's in parentheses. And so that's all there is to it. If we wanted to check, we can just run a table of summary statistics for total enrollment. Then we can do for mean, and so these should be different, so they should have the same number of observations, but the mean for the standardized variable should be 0. And so this is a mean is e to -10, which means it's basically 0. It's a very, 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 very small decimal. You just have to move the decimal 10 places to the left. So that shows us that the Stata did what we asked it to do. And then the last thing, if you wanted to check something, let's say that we want to look at the distribution. And so let's say we want to look at a histogram. And we'll see that it looks like this. So kind of skewed because it's got a right tail here, because there are some schools that are very, very large. And let's say we could do the same thing with our standardized variable. So standardizing the variable made it a little bit more normally distributed, but not completely. And if you wanted to compare that, you can just use this option. And it will show you what a normal curve would look like for this variable. So you can see it's still not completely normal, which just means that you have to be careful how you use this if you wanted to use certain statistical tests or something like that. So that's all there is to it.